So welcome to Movie Show Plus, everybody. Tom Santilli and Greg Russell here. Yeah, this is not a mirage. We're both here. We're both here
Yes.
for the first time in a while. So Greg, hi, how are you, man?
Hi, Tom. How are you? You look great.
Well, I appreciate you saying that because keen viewers of the show might notice that I'm a little off. You mentioned I kind of had like an Elvis kind of thing going on. Yeah, a little
Yeah.
drawl. I
Yeah.
had my wisdom teeth pulled out. But so
Wow.
if I start drooling or something, it's just because of that, I think.
Right.
But but no, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to talk to you. Fans of our show know that we spoiled them last year. Let's be honest. We were
Oh, yeah.
together almost every episode. This year has been a little bit different for us, but I wanted to just jump at the opportunity. You had like 5 minutes open in your schedule, so I said, set me up for those 5 minutes and let's do an episode of Movie Show Plus together for the first time, I think, all year.
Wow. Really? Jeez.
Same
Maybe.
spot, yeah. I mean, us in the same place. We're in every episode. Of course, people see
Yeah.
your interviews, they hear from me, but to see us both together, my mom tells me is a wonderful thing.
But I love your mom. You know that. There you go, Mr. Santilli. All right.
So Greg, yeah. So what's been going on, man? Like, we have a lot to get to in today's show. We have an interview coming up. You interviewed the key cast members coming up in the movie Bros, which
Right.
is a new film that's coming out this weekend. I'm going to be coming along later in the episode with some of my favorite films of 2022 thus far. I thought it was a good time for that because we're just now getting into award season. So
Yes.
before we kind of get into that barrage, I wanted to kind of pause and kind of look back at what I've liked up until now. So all that's coming on the show today, all the usual stuff. But I wanted to check in with you, Greg, and just kind of see what's going on. And what do you how has your movie going experiences been so far in 2022?
It's kind of weird. We're now seeing more and more, as you know, getting the screenings in theaters. So, that's been kind of nice, but I hate to say it, been kind of spoiled a little bit where it's like a rainy day. And I just kind of like to go into my TV, pushing the button as compared to getting in the car. But it is good to get out. As you know, as far as doing interviews on the road, definitely we've been grounded for the most part for the past two plus years.
For sure.
Well, now they're beginning to pick up. Did something in Chicago the other week, got something coming up in New York, and then also LA. And it's kind of weird, Tom, just to wrap my mind around again. Oh, yeah, you got to get ready for a plane trip. You got to get ready to do this as compared to you got to get ready to walk down the basement steps.
Right. Well, as people might not know or may remember, but this was your life. I mean, you basically were getting on a plane almost every weekend and flying somewhere in the world to interview somebody in a new movie. And with COVID, that just completely stopped. And it's good to hear that it's picking back up, because I was afraid that maybe they would, even the talent would get used to the Zooming and not wanting to go through the whole rigmarole of a junket. But do you think it'll ever rebound to how it was pre-pandemic?
I think it'll take a little bit of time, but to my understanding, the studios want it because even though, they're saving money by doing it this way.
Sure.
But they're getting more bang for their buck because when you're in the room with the person, there's just still something about it, as you know, where you're actually looking at the person, talking to them. And they also feel that they probably get even more publicity, from it as well. And it's like we said, it'll take a little bit of time. But yeah, the ones that I have done, they're excited about. And I mean, I've even got one coming up with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and also Pierce Brosnan. So, I mean, you don't really get much bigger than that. So it's not just when I say smaller actors or smaller films. The studios are ready to get back into action because I think they even like it themselves too.
You know what? I do love the in-person interviews, but I always love too watching your Zoom interviews, because almost to a T, almost every single celebrity makes a comment about your background. Your movie memorabilia background, which I always find to be really cool. Because and you can tell it actually kind of sets the interviews up in a good space, because they're doing the same thing over and over again. And then suddenly they get to you and they're like, oh, wow, cool. Like, look at all that cool. Like it kind of knocks them out of their junket trance, if you will.
Right. And that's, you're absolutely, I love it as well when people always kind of go, oh, now who's that? What was that? Da. And then okay, we only got 2 minutes left. So your movie, is that Audrey Hepburn? Yes,
exactly. You get 5 minutes. 4 of it is talking about your own movie paraphernalia. That's funny. No, Greg, it's been a while too since we haven't even talked since like Oscar time and all that. Talk a little bit about just what do you think we can expect this coming award season? Last year the Hollywood Foreign Press fell off the map for good reason. With the Golden Globes and all the drama and controversy and behind the scenes. Then we had the Oscars with the slap heard around the world. Yep. What are we looking into? Like what are award shows going to do this year? Even Critics' Choice last year, we changed venues, kind of downsized a little bit. Do you feel like award shows are going to make a comeback, or are we kind of seeing the slow decline of the prestige of these things?
I think in some cases, I mean, like even with the way they had the Academy Awards set up last year, not even thinking about the slap, but it was in a different setup as compared to just being in the auditorium like it had always been, for so many years, where they're trying to make it look a little bit more cozy, where people are together. But it's still kind of like, I almost hate to say it, but the older, stodgier award show. Because I've talked to a lot of people who even under 30 and some even under 40 who've never watched the Academy Awards. I mean, unless they're in our business, but who never watched it. And it's like, don't you want to see it? And it's like, well, there's darn near an award show on every week. And for the most part, the other award shows have all of their contemporaries. So they'd rather, watch that. So I'm just thinking there'll probably, in the future, be even more changes of different things that they're going to do. I mean, I remember one time growing up back in the day, they had it from New York and LA at the same time.
Sure.
So who knows? They might try something like that, have like little satellites across the country. But yeah, they're gonna have to figure out something to bring more excitement in. Again, you hate to say it, but because of the slap, more people will probably tune into the next Academy Awards thinking, all right, who's gonna get hit now?
Yeah, who's gonna get hit next? Yeah, you're absolutely right. One thing though that is for not to kind of just gloss over is the fact that we've been doing Zoom interviews now ourselves, with each other, talking to each other on the show since the pandemic, 2020, it was 2 years ago. At that time, there was a real fear that movies were not going to be the same, that the movie theater experience wasn't going to be the same. We were all pleasantly relieved, I think, with the arrival of Top Gun Maverick this summer. And movies like that have come since, that have just proven that I think the movie, the theatrical experience is here to stay. I think movies are kind of you're kind of seeing the strength of the industry grow and kind of them putting their faith back in, the audiences. Where do you think we are, in terms of, I know this is kind of like I'm interviewing you, but Greg, I have so many questions for you.
I love it.
This is like, I have so many questions for you that I haven't talked to you.
Timer now going.
Yeah, exactly. I'm getting a rap sign. No, like where do you think we are with the movie industry right now? I mean, how do you feel about where we're at?
Well, again, glad you mentioned Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, something like that needs to be seen on a big screen. I mean, there's no way you're going to get that same feel unless you've got an actual movie theater in your home, no matter how big your screen is. So that, is perfect. I think a lot of these say smaller movies will still probably go to streaming unless they're going to give it maybe like the 2-week release like some have done in a movie theater, then boom, it's automatically on so-and-so's plus somebody else's plus and all like that.
Sure.
So the studios will still be making money. And I think people have gotten to an extent used to seeing stuff now from home. But again, when it's something big, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, and I've always said it, it is still the best date ever. When you're in high school, you want to go out for the first date, you go to a movie. Yes. You and I, we're both, married, and there are just times when it's like with our wives, like, want to get out of the house? Let's go to a movie, get some popcorn, enjoy something, talk about it. I mean, it's still the greatest get out of the house experience to me that people can enjoy.
And there's been a lot of those crowd pleaser kind of movies, and which kind of segues us into this weekend, and what's coming up on the show here. Like we talked about at the top, you have an interview with the new movie Bros. I was just happy to see a comedy being released wide. I mean, it is so rare right now that an R-rated comedy is getting a theatrical release.
Right.
I think that people are going to respond well, hopefully, because we're just not seeing the kind of mixes. We need more than the Marvel movie and the Top Gun Mavericks.
Right.
I would love to see a complete resurgence of all these other films. But I guess we got to take what we can get at this point and just kind of see where things take us.
It's funny you mentioned rom-com. I did the interviews, like you said, with the two stars of the movie Bros, and they had talked about they'd had all their favorite rom-coms growing up. So I said, well, what were some of yours? And it was just beautiful because it's all the stuff we know. Of course, When I Met Sally, which
sure, it's the king of them all. Yeah.
You've got Mail.
Yeah.
They even brought up Broadcast News, which I forgot to an extent that was a rom-com. By being in our business, you watch it at a different thing. Because I told him, I said, thank God for Albert Brooks, not knowing how to sit on his coat or how to adjust it, and teaching all of us to sit on the tail of our jacket to straighten out our shoulders. Way to go, Brooks. But
you're one of his biggest fans, I know, too. I know you guys.
Yeah.
You love big Albert Brooks fan.
Well,
Greg, let's get to the show. Let's show the fine people this interview we're talking about. And again, all kinds of stuff. We'll come back. We'll circle back around and wrap things up here at the end. But until now, everybody enjoy Movie Show Plus, brought to you by both myself and Mr. Greg Russell.
They have a different set of rules down there. You have to be extra careful.
No.
Bo, be small.
Like this?
The first time I heard about the Emmett Till event, I was in elementary school.
You look like a movie star. What?
Bye-bye. It's one of those stories that if you're black, you've heard about it.
I want to talk to you about that boy.
Most of us would not know who Emmett Till was if it weren't for Mamie.
The whole world has to see what happened to my son.
Mamie was very aware and intentional about the power of the image to really bring awareness that would result in a level of change and activism and to galvanize people into doing something.
You're not just my boo anymore.
Orion exists to give a platform to the myriad of filmmakers like Chinoya that have something to contribute to the cinematic canon of American film. And I'm really, really committed to making movies, not just by us, but for us.
We put Emmett's story in its proper context and history to understand how his story sparked the American Civil Rights Movement.
We get to see how Mamie fights for justice. If something is happening to one of us, it is happening to all of us, and we witness her come into a particular kind of power and to be the progenitor of the civil rights movement.
Those pictures of your son changed people's lives.
Mamie turned tragedy into purpose, which is why we sit here today.
This story needs to be told in a way that is humanizing, empowering, and that is necessary. There will be no physical violence against black people on screen because I'm not interested in relishing in that kind of physical trauma. We're gonna begin and end in a place of joy.
You just beeped when you should have bopped.
Mamie was a catalyst for change. She affected millions of lives for the better. Mamie Till Mobley is a hero.
The lynching of my son has shown me that what happens to any of us, anywhere in the world, had better be the business of us all.
Hey guys, it's Bobby Lieber coming to you from the future home of the LGBTQ+ Museum. Everyone is really excited and totally getting along.
This happens to be Bisexual Awareness Week, and no one has acknowledged it.
Lesbian History Month was in March. Nobody said a thing.
Of course, lesbians get a month and we get a week.
the beauty of it, really, and that's what makes Bros fun for everyone, regardless of who you might be in a relationship with.
And honestly, we've watched so many, growing up as a gay man, watched so many rom-coms with straight people at the center of it, and learned a lot from it, and took a lot from it, and laughed and cried. So maybe straight people can watch two gay people at the center of a rom-com and learn something from it and laugh and cry too.
This is something new for a lot of people.
Yep.
But I think once they get in and start watching, they're just going to laugh, which is great.
That is the point. Big laughs, hard laughs, extreme laughter. That is the goal.
Yeah, that was our goal when we sat down. We didn't say, let's write a gay movie or a historic movie. We just said, let's write the funniest movie we can write. We don't get that many great comedies in movie theaters anymore. It's become something you watch at home for some reason. But when I was growing up, we had all these great comedies you would go see. And it's so fun to sit in a movie theater with hundreds of other people and escape the world and escape your life and just laugh with people. It's like a party. It makes you feel good.
Yeah, we've been to a couple of screenings now where Billy's been with it, and it is really rewarding to hear a room full of laughter and different kinds of laughter, at different points, and unexpected laughs sometimes. It's great to hear laughter in a room together.
What are some of your favorite rom-coms that you watch?
So many. I love Moonstruck and When Harry Met Sally, Annie Hall, Working Girl, Broadcast News, Tootsie. There were so many that I really loved, and I watched them over and over again throughout my life. And we just wanted to make a movie like that happens to be about a gay couple, because we haven't had many like that before.
There's some of the rom-coms from more recent history too, and they were produced by the same guy that produced our movie, Judd Apatow. We're talking
Bridesmaids, Knocked Up, Trainwreck. He's speechless. There were so many good ones.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall. So we got comedies from past and present. I'd like to think that Bros kind of fits into that spectrum of rom-coms. So.
It's a real feel-good movie, and we need that now.
Yeah, like you said, I enjoyed some of those same movies as well. In fact, Broadcast News, Albert Brooks, I got to tell him one time, he saved TV reporters. He's the one who taught us how to sit on
the shirt. Yeah. Oh my God, I love that movie so much. Yeah, William Hurt teaches him how to sit on the shirt so he doesn't look wrinkly, which I should be doing a better job.
Wow.
But
interesting connection between Bros and that movie is that our music was written by Mark
Shaman wrote the score for Bros, who actually is in Broadcast News, has a cameo as the guy who writes the theme song. He was very young. Not that he still isn't very young in his way, but he was really young at that point. And so, Mark wrote the score for When Harry Met Sally and Sister Act and Sleepless in Seattle and Beaches and all these great movies I grew up loving. And so the fact that he wrote this score is really amazing.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that.
Yes. And he comes in and he plays it on the little piano.
Yeah, and he has this 80s hairdo. It was the 80s.
Incredible. Yeah. And the music is so news reporting.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Maybe you're both bottoms and that's the problem.
Bottom day.
Gay sex was more fun when straight people were uncomfortable with it.
Oh my God, do you guys remember Straight People?
Yeah, they had a nice run.
A Dream Limousine continues to be Metro Detroit's finest luxury transportation service. 734-542-6800. Offering late model luxury SUVs to brand new party buses that seat up to 34 passengers. 734-542-6800. Including the one-of-a-kind Escalade Stretch with the exciting jet door. Call 734-542-6800. That's 734-542-6800. A Dream Limousine.
Hey, Greg Russell here from Movie Show Plus, enjoying being here at the Foundation Hotel this week. We've been taking the show on the road quite a bit. Now, if you've got a business that you would like us to showcase, just let us know. Get in touch with us via our website right here, movieshowplus.com, and we'll get back with you. And hey, who knows? You might be the next movie star right here on Movie Show Plus.
Blue sky, smiling at me. Nothing but blue sky do I see.
Got anything to say for yourself? Not interested, huh?
Can't you answer?
You're tearing me apart!
What?
You say one thing, he says another, and everybody changes back again!
Oh, me, huh? Nah, forget about it. I'm just kidding, all right? Oh, this your wife. Oh, a lovely lady. Hey, baby, you're all right. You must have been something before electricity, huh?
We're way past the halfway point of 2022, but I thought, what a great time to stop and kind of look back at what I consider to be some of my favorite movies of 2022 thus far before we get into award season where I'm sure everything will get muddled up. Two of my favorite films thus far in 2022 are currently streaming on Hulu. The first is a movie that came out early in the spring. It's called Fresh. It stars Sebastian Stan and Daisy Edgar Jones. Daisy Edgar Jones was also the star of this summer's Where the Crawdads Sing. She is near the top of my list for breakout performer. Fresh is best if you go into it fresh, and I can assure you if you do, it will more than satisfy your appetite. The other Hulu film is Good Luck to You, Leo Grand. Daryl McCormick and Emma Thompson are stellar, and this little movie always kept my interest despite much of it just taking place in conversation between its two stars. It's no surprise that Top Gun Maverick is still one of my favorite movies of the year. This movie is now a top 5 all-time box office smash in the US, and I'm hoping that the sustained momentum has Top Gun Maverick flying through award season and straight onto the Oscar radar. A bit more of a surprise for me as far as blockbusters go was how much I absolutely loved The Batman, a movie I was sort of annoyed with for even existing before I had seen it. But wow. They do the character right, and it's the first time that Bruce Wayne is portrayed as maybe more frightening than his counterpart. Robert Pattinson was all in. The Batman is on HBO Max now. I'm not sure I've seen a more visceral, visually stunning movie than The Northman this year. It's likely too gory and heady to win many awards, but it was a heck of an experience. The Northman is streaming on Peacock. I also really enjoyed The Outfit, which featured another award-worthy performance by Mark Rylance, and it's a film that still might fill up my voting ballot in several categories. The Outfit can be found on Amazon Prime. There have been a handful of great documentaries this year, but for me, none have been more essential than Flint, Who Can You Trust? It can be found on Amazon Prime Video, and of all these movies I'm talking about today, I hope this is the one that you seek out. Last but not least, when it comes to animated movies, it's Richard Linklater's Apollo 10.5, A Space-Aged Childhood, that is by far my favorite animated film of 2022 thus far, one of my top movies of the year, definitely one of the top animated films of the year. And remember, you can always find full written movie reviews, celebrity interviews, and full episodes of our show on the website movieshowplus.com. That's all I got for this week. There is so much to be excited for coming down the pike here in the fall. I'm Tom Santilli, film critic. Until next time, I'll see you at the movies.
If you're here, then you already know who she is. Lydia Tarr is many things. As a conductor, Tarr began her career with the Cleveland Orchestra, Chicago Symphony Orchestra, the Boston Symphony Orchestra, until she had last arrived here at our own New York Philharmonic. In 2013, Berlin elected Tarr as its principal conductor, and she's remained there ever since. Lydia Tarr has also written music for the stage and screen. She is one of only 15 EGOTs, meaning those who have won all 4 major entertainment awards. Thank you for joining us, Maestro.
Thank you.
How's the writing going?
Not so well. I keep hearing something.
Schopenhauer measured a man's intelligence against his sensitivity to noise.
Do you ever find yourself overwhelmed by emotion?
Yes. Yes, that does happen.
We have a problem.
I received another weird email.
There's no reason to get caught up in any intrigue.
I'm worried. She's starting to disappear into herself.
You want to dance the mask? You must service the composer. You gotta supplement yourself. Your ego and, yes, your identity.
You must, in fact, stand in front of the public and God and obliterate yourself.
So Greg, again, there's another episode down the hatch. This was fun to be able to finally reconnect with you on air. I mean, we talk all the time, really, but
just to see that photo of yours looks great.
Well, don't pinch too hard today.
Right, I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the wisdom tooth thing going, of course. But yeah, Greg, we touched on a lot of important stuff early on. Hopefully there's some fun new movies that people saw within this. Some of the movies that I highlighted that were my favorite of the year so far, all of them are available on streaming platforms they could find. But no, it's just really cool. And I want people to know that, we're going to stick around in some way, shape, or form. Our show has kind of morphed and changed and, has grown, but we're here to stay. We're not going anywhere.
That's for sure. I mean, we have got one of the longest running TV shows in Detroit television history.
Yes.
Well over 20 years now. So we're going to keep it going for sure.
Yep. Greg started this show when he was in his teens, and now it's 20 years later, and we're.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
No,
but
Greg.
Yeah. My hair was black. So it was a long time ago.
Pretty soon we'll just make like a set that looks like the background, and we'll just move it into the senior center, and nobody will ever be able to tell what's happening.
Even though, probably people will be walking like, I'm on TV now.
Yeah. Well,
yes, man. Class reunion.
This was awesome. Super cool to chat with you. Everybody, thanks for joining us on Movie Show Plus. We plan on doing more again, and I think we haven't really discussed this, Greg, but we always have last couple of years we've done a big like year-end show. So hopefully we can get something like that off the ground too, and wrap up our year and kind of release some of our favorite films and keep this thing going well into 2023.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it, Tom. Always a pleasure, you and me.
Sounds good. Everybody, thank you for joining us here today, and we'll see you next time on Movie Show Plus.
Whoop, whoop.
Check out MovieShowPlus.com to watch this episode online and for exclusive content, extended interviews with Greg Russell, and a complete archive of movie reviews with Tom Santilli. Also, make sure to like and follow us on social media and on our Movie Show Plus YouTube channel.